What's going on YouTube? It's Pelfrey, and as you can see I've got a water change going on. It's been a few weeks since I've done a water change now, so I'm going to do a water change, and you can see the glass is filthy here. So I got the trusty razor blade out, and I'm going to just start scraping the glass. I'm going to leave the back, the overflow, and the other back side over there just as is, but I'm going to get these panes, the left, right, and front pane of glass cleaned up pretty good. Now I did go over this with the Tunze large algae scraper, but this stuff just isn't coming off very well. So, you know, it's been neglected for a little while, so it's definitely time to hit it with something stronger than just a regular magnetic glass cleaner. The overflow, you can see here, got some bubble algae on there, so I'll probably take this opportunity to pluck that off of there. And then I do take these grates out a couple times a year. As you can see, this algae here, what it'll do is it'll get stuck. You can take a razor blade, but you'll have to work at it pretty good. But this comes out. The one on the right will come out, and then the centerpiece will come out. So, and you can see if the core line gets on there, it gets really tough. So just pull the top of it off and just lift up on it. So that's inside the overflow. There's some Approx in there. Everything seems to be looking pretty good. No complaints anyway. And I will also, from time to time, pull the return nozzle off. It just pulls right out. So let's take this opportunity, do a top-down shot. There's the Jabo PP15, and the fish are hiding and scared. The radions are 100% on all colors to get the white visualization right now. So ignore the daughter in the background. She's having a lot of fun, and that's all that matters. So the little hammer section, love it. Some more bubble algae over here I'll get taken care of today while I'm in here. So yeah, just a lot of maintenance that needs to be done from time to time. Since I was in here anyway, I decided to pull the pumps out, and I'll soak them in vinegar and water for a little bit, and probably just brush them off, throw them back in the tank. Made a little bit of a mess, so I have to clean that out. And I did pull out this metal glass cleaner that I have that's handheld, and it does wonders. It's kind of hard to use on some of the front parts of the glass because the handle's so long, and you can't get really good angle on there because it'll hit the lights. But yeah, I'll have to clean up some of this mess I have going on. But overall, the glass is a lot cleaner. I got rid of the bubble algae there. I got rid of the big colony of bubble algae I was growing here. And probably can't, well, yeah, you can kind of see it, but there's some of the crud and stuff that I pulled out, and that's that big clump of bubble algae right there. So I do have emerald crabs in here, and I probably should have thrown it back in the tank for the emerald crabs to feast on, but there should be other things and plenty of other food for those emerald crabs to munch on. I did scrape a little bit of this. I don't know what it is. It looks like turf algae to me, but I did scrape it a little bit, but not a whole lot. And then of course I took the razor blade to the front parts and the sides of the glass. And I'm going to leave this alone, like I said. Just let it kind of populate and do its own thing and kind of see what happens here. If you followed me for a while, you know that I used these 10-gallon brute containers for water changes from time to time. And recently we did some painting, and the other bucket that I had, the other 10-gallon brute that I had, got some paint on it, so I decided to not use it for water changes anymore. So I ordered one on Amazon, and it took it like 3 weeks to show up. So they actually sent a second one. I have a second one right there as a replacement of this one. Now, since it showed up, I now have two, which is excellent. I have been using the Live Aquaria salt, and I'll be honest with you, I haven't been testing my parameters, so I have no clue. But you know what? I got the box of salt cheap, and it mixes well. I have definitely no complaints over the mix. I did throw a heater in here, so I keep my water over here in the storage containers, and throughout the summer it's warm. It's plenty warm. It's been getting down into the freezing, you know, 30 degrees, a little bit higher, between 30 and 32 in the evening. So I put the water in the bucket last night, and then I put the heater in the pump in there, and then I added the salt this morning, and it's been mixing for a couple of hours now. It's definitely ready to go and put back into the tank. But I'm thrilled to have the 10-gallon brute back because I was using 5-gallon buckets, and I really like to do, this is probably an 8-ish gallon water change, and that's what I really like to do. So I'm gonna probably stick to that for a little while. And since I have 2 brute containers, it works out perfect. But whenever I do drain the water, I do drain it into 5-gallon buckets because it makes it easier for me to dump down into the toilet. As I'm pumping water back into the tank from the brute, something came to mind and I thought it'd be nice to share. So whether I'm doing a 5-gallon water change or an 8-gallon water change, 10-gallon water change, whatever it is, I always keep some of the water in a bucket. Only because this might not be enough. And if it's not enough, I still have some of this water that I can add back to the tank. So if I'm doing, like I said, if I'm doing a 5-gallon water change, I still keep it. And if it's not enough water, by the time I get the new water added to the tank, I still have some of the old water that I could add back to the tank. So that's just something that I do, and it's worked out well for me. Hose clamp to the tank, CJ 1.5, pumping water into the tank. And I did carry this brute container in here. Everybody's like, I don't like carrying buckets. I don't want to carry buckets. I'm going to do automatic water changes. Just carry a bucket. Go to the gym a couple times or don't. But if you can't carry a bucket, I can't help you. A bucket's light. It's like 50 pounds with full water. Anyway, that's a rant for me for right now, but I did carry it inside. I don't care. Buckets, whatever. If I had to carry them up the steps, I'll carry them up the steps too. So something else, I do actually have a little lip on the stand there, and I have the bucket tilted now so that I can get the maximum amount of water out of here, and then I'll just pick the rest of it up and dump it in there, which goes back to my rant. Again, I'm gonna pick up the water and I'm gonna dump it in the tank. I'm not scared to pick up buckets, but to each their own. At this point, I got all of the water from the brute added to the tank, and I'm not sure if I added enough water. So I moved the CJ 1.5 into the water I took from the tank. This did not intend to be how I change water or a how I change water video, but this is kind of where this has gone. But what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna actually move the hose over here. And the only reason I'm doing that is because when I turn the return pump on, I don't turn the auto top off whenever I do this. I use the Tunze auto top off, and you can't see it because of this nasty floss there. There you go. But since that float is activated, the auto top off definitely won't turn on. But the reason why I'm moving the tubing from this water into this chamber is because once I start the return pump up, it's gonna pull water from the sump first to fill up and then go over the overflow and then back into the sump. And the first section that's gonna run low is the return section. And I don't want the auto top off to turn on and start pumping a bunch of water in there. So I'm gonna stand here, I'm gonna turn the return pump on, and whenever it starts going low, or I think it's gonna go low, I'll start adding water to the sump. Looking at the sump real quick, I did add more water, which is super easy to get rid of. I'll just use this cup and take some of the water out. Did replace this pinky pad, and this is a gallon bucket that's chaeto. This stuff has been growing like crazy. I can't even describe it. The pumps are still soaking in vinegar and water. There's no movement in there, they're just soaking. And I did take one of the dosing tubes off of the sump and put it in here to clean it or whatever. But this stuff is super green. So I took about a gallon out, and I'll spin this as needed, and yeah, we'll grow some more. At this point, I'm done. You can see the PP15, it's clean. There's still some coralline algae on there, but for the most part, it's clean and it's working great. I took the 1K, excuse the, there you go. Excuse the reflection there, but I took the 1K ice cap gyre apart and cleaned it. Everything is perfect. I do need to clean the outside of the glass still, and I usually use like a microfiber cloth with some glass cleaner, and I'll just wipe the glass off. You can see, excuse me, there's a spot there and a spot there, and that's all external. So I do need to clean the outside of the glass, but that's how I perform a water change. And I may need to redirect this because you can see the hammer here is not happy with what's going on. It's completely closed up. So I'll probably stick my hand in there and redirect that up maybe a little bit. But that's that, folks. Don't forget to check me out on Instagram at Pelfrey's Reef, PELPHREYSREEF. Check out the website at pelfrey.net, and I'll see you on the next one.